welcome to another week on Sunrise. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are at the Star this morning for a fun-filled Logie's after party. Keep up, keep up. We're keeping up. We're up early after a big night. The stars shone brightly, didn't they, on the biggest night in Australian TV last night. We have all the winners covered this morning.
TV's Golden Girl becomes Australia's screen queen.
Sonia Kruger!
The Voice, Dancing with the Stars and Big Brother host taking out the top prize in Australian television.
I have to compose myself. I'm not used to being on TV.
Rounding out a night that saw the first Logie's host in more than a decade.
If you look out in the audience and you see the ghost of Daryl Summers, don't worry, that's just actually him.
Words of wisdom and inspiration from a broadcasting legend.
Don't worry, Dal. He'll never be as good as you.
Nobody was safe from Sam Pang packing a deadpan punch.
Up for the most popular entertainment program is The Voice, despite Peter Dutton's strong opposition to the nomination.
The team from Brekkie Central staying up a little past their bedtime, but they came prepared.
I have eye drops to get rid of the red.
And when it came down to business, some of the best in the business were on show. Home and Away taking the crown for most popular drama series. And Australian Idol's Amy Shark, the most popular new talent.
My Nan's at home watching this and she's going to be going wild right now. So hi, Nan.
But she wasn't the only one going wild.
Thank you, Sam Mack, for coming up with the campaign slogan too.
Sonia.
Yeah, the Logies is back, baby. Let's say good morning. Everybody here did not go to the Logies and they didn't wake up at 4 o'clock, but I went to bed at 2:30. I tell you what, I had a good night. Also, G-Flit kissed me on the cheek.
Oh, really?
Oh, did she?
No big deal, no big deal. But she is
Great
taken.
performance.
Yeah, with Peking Duck.
Yes,
So
good.
incredible.
Singing
It was...
at the drum set.
I know.
Amazing.
You should have. He was
Yeah,
going
you
off.
both should have hung around for the after party.
Yeah.
And Barretts,
Oh, we
I did
did.
see you
We
backdoor it.
Yeah,
Don't
didn't
think
you
I didn't see you
us there?
smoke bomb.
We were there. We were in the back.
Yeah.
You
Back
went
right.
No, you weren't.
I'm
Yeah, we
still
were.
there in my mind as well.
Thanks very much, Katie. See you soon. Let's get more news now. Here's Eddie.
Thank you, Nat. Good morning. 4 airmen missing after an ADF helicopter went down in waters just off Hamilton Island have now been identified as new questions are raised about the type of aircraft they were flying. Let's go live now to our reporters. First to Liam Tapper, who's at the Holsworthy Barracks in Sydney. Liam, a heartbreaking wait for their families.
Yeah, absolutely, Eddie. It would be unimaginable tragedy for these families after the identities of the 4 soldiers were revealed by the ADF. They are Captain Dan Lyon, Lieutenant Max Nugent, Corporal Alexander Nags and Warrant Officer Joseph Laycock. Now, those 4 men, they were based here at Holsworthy. They were part of a very tight, very highly specialised unit, the 6th Aviation Regiment. And you could only imagine what their fellow Army soldiers are feeling this morning. But we heard from the top office in the land, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese yesterday. He said that Australia, it owes a debt of gratitude to these soldiers, Eddie. So not just the ADF, but the broader Australian community are hurting this morning.
Absolutely. Let's go now to Steve Hart, who's near the search site at Airlie Beach. Steve, the military's air investigation team has now arrived there.
Yes, indeed, Eddie. Good morning. There are 2 parts to what's going on here. Obviously, that search and rescue. It is still called that, even though it's mostly a recovery mission. They are determined to bring those 4 aircrew men home to their families in one way or another. It's a 1,000-metre exclusion zone out there just off Hamilton Island behind me, as they also, the investigation team, really start to dig into the MRH-90s. We know they're due to retire next year, 13 years ahead of schedule. But will that happen early? We know they're all grounded. Will they fly again for the Army? Well, that remains to be seen, Eddie.
Thank you, Steve, and to Liam too. There's a promising boost on the horizon for tens of thousands of Australians as the government introduces new changes to welfare payments. Let's go live to Jennifer Beshwadi in Canberra. Jen, morning. Who is in line for a pay increase?
Morning, Eddie. Well, it's for Australia's most vulnerable, those on the lowest income unable to work. From September 20, the job seeker rate, which was due to go up by $40, will now go up by $56 a fortnight. That's in line with half-yearly inflation, taking the base rate to $749 a fortnight. Commonwealth rent assistance is also going up to $37. The pension and parenting payments are also due to increase, but by how much is yet to be determined. Now, the Senate will begin debate on the payments. The opposition leader Peter Dutton has already signalled that the coalition will not support the increase in job seeker. Instead, he wants welfare recipients to earn more without losing any of their Centrelink payments. But Eddie, it'll pass anyway with the support of the Greens and Jackie Lambie.
Thank you so much for that, Jen. Police are still searching this morning for the gunman involved in a terrifying night of crime right across Melbourne. Let's go live to Tegan Doling, who's at the Fawkner Police Station this morning. Tegan, they're investigating whether these crimes are all linked.
5 men ended up in hospital from the 3 separate attacks. The first attack in Meadow Heights, a man was shot in the leg. The second attack happened a couple of hours later. That was here in Glenroy. Now, there was 2 men that were shot. 2 men received knife wounds. And then a couple of hours after that, just over in Delahaye, a couple suburbs away, there was a drive-by shooting where a house was peppered with bullets. Initially, police thought that they may have all been connected just because of the close proximity of them all. This all occurred on Saturday night. They now believe, following about 24 hours of investigation, they may not be connected, but they were targeted. Still, gunmen are on the run, Eddie, and the weapons have not been found.
Thank you, Tegan. Workers are returning this morning to Brisbane's Cross River rail site after their colleague fell from scaffolding last week, suffering life-threatening injuries. Let's go live to Georgie Chumley at Dutton Park. Georgie, hundreds of notices had been issued over safety concerns we're now finding out.
Good morning, Eddie. That's right, and this is the first time that workers will be back on site at the Cross River Rail Boggo Road site after many of them witnessed the fall of their colleague Nash Kruger. He remains in a critical condition in the ICU at Princess Alexandra Hospital. As you said, there have been hundreds of safety notices issued to the lead contractor of the Cross River Rail project. And yesterday, the Deputy Premier of Queensland admitted that he was aware of those before the workplace accident. We know that Nash's family have raised $34,000 via a GoFundMe to assist him in his recovery. Eddie?
Thank you, Georgie.